What up? How's everybody doing out there? Today we're gonna do something kind of special, or should I say tonight, right? There's a very interesting video I came across on YouTube, and I'm just gonna go ahead and react to it and let it play. It's about a 15-minute clip, a wild conspiracy that I just thought was very interesting. So without further ado, we're gonna get right into it, y'all. Uh, Here it goes. Check it out. It is called the Global Antarctica Theory, according to 4chan. So check it out. It's wild, y'all.
I have been refraining from posting this for some time, even back in the older days of Antarctica on X and polls several years ago. I figure now is a good time as any. I stopped myself from posting because I feared gang stalking or being traced, if there was any truth to what I'm about to post. Now, I just think fuck it. This post will most likely go unnoticed anyways, and gang stalking is just an irrational fear for myself. My knowledge of Antarctica comes from my best friend of 50 years now. Though we grew up together, we grew up in very different conditions. He was part of the rich family who owned one of the largest factories in my hometown. I was the opposite, just a naive kid playing around town when we first met. We were best friends then, and I still consider him my best friend now, despite him traveling around the world and going to Princeton, and doing whatever he wanted. The point is, he is a 31st Mason, and has lived a life way beyond I can imagine.
How come it's always the Masons with this mysterious stuff, y'all? And I only bring that point up, right, because it's kind of like that in my town. We dropped a video with Buddy Webb about people in the attic, and Christi basically said that once she started digging into certain characters, like it's like the same bunch of people, and it's always the same common denominator. Gary Painter was the sheriff of my town. The day he made Grand Mason, the next day he had a heart attack and died. My town is where George Bush Jr. and Sr. are from. Heavy Masonic presence in my town. So let's go back to the story. And I had to slow it down, y'all. I had it a little bit faster. That's how I watch my videos. But let's continue with this crazy story. It's a trip. Come along.
Despite all of this, he always comes to visit. Sometimes several times a year. Sometimes not for years. But when he does, we usually get smashed and trashed. Hookers, blow, even he brought me DMT and other crazy shit. Okay, enough backstory. Time for the goods. This comes from him. His story hasn't changed, though he only told me this roughly 5 years ago, and told me shit would be happening in less than a decade.
That's a common denominator too, right? Like when someone tells a story and it never changes, right? It's more believable. Check it out.
This starts with a religion. And at first, I rolled my eyes. But as he talked more, it sent shivers up and down my spine. So the Masons have been in charge of controlling and releasing information to the public at reasonable levels. That is what he told me the majority of his Masonic duty entails. And the first piece of media they altered was the Bible. A major part of the Bible was cut out from the Revelations, revealing where the Antichrist and the Beast would emerge from. He said the section they cut out was the most important. So, the Revelations stated that the last Antichrist would be the total opposite of Jesus, spreading disease from an old age, which turned most humans into zombies, or some weird shit he'd said. Anyways, he said this Antichrist was trapped in a frozen wasteland with magnificent buildings and was being held by kilometers of ice. He doesn't know exactly if this is an individual. Even the Masons think it is a virus of some sort. The Bible didn't specifically state, but he said this is where the saying comes from, when hell freezes over.
Talking about Antarctica, he goes more into this, y'all. And again, this is just a tale right here, but I wanted to react to it. I wanted to showcase, what I seen here. And there's like a common train of thought. Why is Antarctica like surrounded with this mystery? All these nations signed this treaty, right? You can't even go over there. And to be honest, I've heard about people that have gone there, and it's not as sealed tight as you would think, because to be honest, how easy could it be to go on a expedition out there in the cold? You need certain kind of equipment and stuff to go out there. It's not even that basically the government will keep you back. I've heard so much as far as like probably not enough resources to continue on that trek, right? But we'll continue. It's pretty interesting, y'all. It's about Antarctica. Check it out.
Hell, it is already frozen over. Once hell is defrozen, then real hell will be unleashed. He told me these temples in Antarctica have been explored by a group of people in control in the government. The same group is doing crowd control methods all around the world, have been digging, hoping to find this Antichrist buried in Antarctica, because some believe it is the key to immortality. For another small section of the Bible did refer to the everlasting life, or Garden of Eden, being hidden right beside this Antichrist. And in order to bring about the last days, it had to happen anyways. So, teams have been digging, blowing up shit, covering up, and stopping visits. Though he said you can visit the outside portions of Antarctica, only those who know will ever get to see those temples. And constantly destroying any information leaked from this expedition. He told me several years ago some Russian thought he found a portion of the immortality and injected himself with an ancient virus they discovered in a vial in one of the temples. He even cringed when telling this story and said the guy instantly turned blue and froze over.
Real quick, I've seen another video this week talking about Antarctica. Like there's a they did like a shot, like I forgot exactly what it's called, but like what I'm saying, they saw like underground, and there's like an actual spot in Antarctica that's like an anomaly. There's like some kind of a big old building or something under the ice over there in Antarctica. Y'all, I've seen this video this week. It's pretty interesting. Kind of reminded me of this video, but we'll continue. Check it out.
Everyone ran out, and when they returned, his body was gone. Now, they only work in those giant radioactive suits. He said they had to replace him with a body double to avoid drawing notice or some shit in his real life.
Body doubles? Where we heard that one before, though, right?
He went into great detail about how big and complicated those temples expand across the entire continent, and he calls it a big giant city. He said from one temple where you enter, there are hundreds of rooms, hallways, traps, all types of symbols and shit on the walls, large books of ancient texts no one can read, vials upon vials of random liquids, which they can't even remotely identify. But he said most contain living organisms in these vials, and they're protected behind large traps, shit from Indiana Jones. He said they've already lost over 500 people exploring, and now they're using robots. But shit is so complicated you have to move blocks to open doors, solve riddles. I don't know, he said it's truly a giant mousetrap. There are keys and legends on the walls, and a single room can contain up to 100 different keys for solving to open up a trap. It's crazy shit, and they have the smartest people working on it. And they send in third world people to go open the doors when they think they solved it. It's shit that I still don't know what to make of. So some other stuff he told me. Most movies and books are representing what they think will happen when it's discovered. Like Transformers with the frozen bot, forget his name. All these zombie movies and all the other shit in the media. I'm not sure if you guys care. Essentially, I have crazy stories from them all of these years. A lot of examples I forget because of our drunken binges. But this is the gist of it. Don't know if it confirms anything for you guys, but it's my 2 cents.
Again, this is just a little clip I found on the internet, y'all, that I thought was very interesting. It's like right up my alley. Something biblical, something dealing with Antarctica. It's always intrigued me, that part of the world, how we can't even really go over there, and this peace treaty that we have amongst all these countries. You truly think about it, it's kind of creepy and weird, unnerving that they have that treaty in place. Why can't nobody go to Antarctica? Think about that, right? Check it out.
And just for you, Anon, I will type out everything I know. He said Game of Thrones, one of the only shows I watched, so I can relate to what he said, shows what they think will happen when they discover this Antichrist. They aren't sure it is, but the White Walkers are meant to get normies ready to fight against a possible zombie outbreak. And why they think it is soon, a quote he kept repeating from the Bible was, "After the war of wars, and after the winter of winters, is when everything would happen." He thinks the war of wars was from World War II up until now, non-stop fighting across the earth. And the winter of winter refers to the ice of Antarctica decreasing and opening up parts of Iceland still frozen. Another crazy fact he said they know is there will be Jesus or Christ right beside the Antichrist, and you will get to choose when it's first discovered. He thinks it'll be two vials beside each other, and you'll have to drink one. After the Russian, they put in a ban from ingesting any shit from these temples to prevent anything from happening. It's truly a clusterfuck of arguments because everyone wants to be the first to keep discovering. But they are in disagreement of what to do with all these random vials they keep finding. He said each other has random living organisms inside of it, and it's bacteria and viruses we have never seen before.
Believable.
Shit which makes apples rot in minutes, and monkeys explode diarrhea and shaking to death. But the coolest thing he said was there is a frozen giant skeleton in golden armor in one of the temples. It's holding the skull of a giant reptile. The giant looks to be over 30 feet tall, and the reptile's head is roughly the size of a van. It's incredible to see, and unbelievable.
Speaking of that, the Tale of Gilgamesh, right? I've seen this other clip on YouTube about Hillary Clinton. Did you know that they wrote her an email? I don't know if she responded or she even got it, but basically talking about the tomb of Gilgamesh, like when they went with Saddam Hussein, like they went to an actual museum. That's like what they invaded first, y'all. Like there's a whole like train of thought about Gilgamesh, supposedly like a giant or something. If you notice, that's why this kind of video kind of like interested me, y'all, because I'm interested in things like this, like giants, you know what I'm saying? Nephilim, you know what I'm saying? Kind of weird, like, you know, tales. Even biblically, these are, you know, the Bible says there was giants before and after the flood. There's also a video. Have you seen it? I might react to that one too, about the TikToker that caught supposedly a giant, he thinks, on the phone. I forgot what part of the world it was in, and this is like a pretty big deal. I might do a video on that, but it's pretty interesting that this brings this up in this story. But let's continue.
He mentioned some Jewish show on TV called The 100. I haven't seen it. But he said the leader takes a chip or drinks something which gives them the recollection of all the knowledge previously, and lets them control the others with their minds. That is what they think is in the immortality vial. So the media and shit they keep releasing is just them theorizing everything and making entertainment of it. It's funny because it's the truth in a way, he said, and the public just eats it up. On a long binge, he did tell me everything they found so far. It must have been hours he was talking, and lots of shit just went through me because it was so unbelievable. Aside from the traps, the walls are covered in symbols and images. Shit which has supposedly happened, shit which hasn't happened, and shit just no one knows what to think about. He said these images, though drawn in some ink, which looks like it's printed on a piece of paper, has predicted many events recently. And the Illuminati card game, but this piece of 4chan I do enjoy threads about, were actually pictures on the walls of these temples.
This is wild. He gets into the Illuminati card game, how like it's real, and like it's all over this temple, and it's pretty wild little spill he gives on this, right? Again, y'all, just reacting to a video I seen on YouTube. Not saying it's true, it's just a interesting video. Let's go.
He said they look so lifelike. Even though being drawn, they had to release them in a game because these events were coming true over time. And they keep coming true, which is scary and crazy. For them, it's just another piece of media which flies over the heads of the population. But for them, it's a giant timeline. He said
a timeline, but think about it, right? It's right in front of our face. If you follow along with a lot of this like stuff, this occult stuff, like you already know how it works. Basically, in order for them to put a spell upon the masses, they got to show us what they're doing. And if you think about it, it's right in our face, y'all. When you are awake to this, I believe when you get born again, when you have the Spirit of God living in you and you can see past, you know what I'm saying, the physical into the spiritual, not to be weird or wild, but basically, y'all, it's all supernatural. It's all spiritual. Basically, they put this in your face, y'all. They put it in the face of the masses. But what are the masses doing? Even us, we're busy working. You know what I'm saying? Like, in order to seduce you and to put you under that spell, they got to show you the magic trick. They got to show it right in your face, and it's up to you if you want to believe or not see or see it. It's like a common theme of these people that practice this occult and this witchcraft, right? For lack of better words, sorcery.
There's tons of shit hidden in media, which they can find and subtly hide. But it doesn't matter to anyone because we just keep consuming shit and not caring. Nor would we care unless we saw it in real life.
Would we care? Always think about that. Would we care? Would people care? Or would they go about their lives? But then again, the Bible says too that men's heart would fail them when they see what comes upon the earth, right? The crazy things that we're actually going to see if we were to see that stuff. So I always think about that. Would people even care if they seen some crazy things happening? I don't know, because there's crazy things happening right now, and do people even care?
I was amazed when he mentioned this game because I actually own it and took it out and we played for hours. He explained a shit ton of cards which happened, and cards which they think will be happening soon. He said each and every card is a picture from the wall, and nothing's made up. So, which are the ones that he thinks are gonna happen next? They aren't sure, but they constantly hide these hints in TV.
Yeah.
Even for them, it's like a giant mess of information they are constantly working on.
That's right, Big. This is a crazy video. That's why I'm reacting to it, because I saw it and it really, like, I watch so many videos on YouTube or listen to them when I'm at work, and this is like one that when I heard this, I said, man, I know it could be. I mean, it probably ain't real, but what if, right? But not even what if. It's just like it hit a nerve in me. Like, damn, this is pretty interesting. Dealing with Antarctica, the Illuminati card game, this temple, right? We'll continue to check it out. It's crazy.
He said the pictures are one thing, but there are hundreds of books and scripts which contain shit no one understands.
Nobody.
He educated me on the Voynich manuscript. It's one of the books which they found and made its way into the public. No one knows what it means or anything, but they think it was ancient methods for making medicine or other stuff no one actually knows. He mentioned like 9/11 was in a temple several times, and they did attempt to prevent it, but somehow there was a group in the government which made it happen because of interests.
Wow.
They even hinted on The Simpsons and several other shows. It was coming. But the public can't make connections or believe anything. He says the more shit they release, the less likely the majority of the population believes. Instead, they focus on working, shitting, eating, and making money.
Told you.
It's nothing but entertainment. This is what he said. He said there is a connection between how much shit from the temples they put into the media, the more likely it is to be successful. Even the symbols, which are littered across all media, Illuminati symbols, comes from these temples, and other temples from the world. But in these temples, they appear hundreds of times in random order, like a language. So they just throw it out into the media, and we buy it up. Not even they know what they truly mean.
Wow.
But they just keep filling our media with it, and we just keep consuming it. They have no idea whether these stories happened or will be happening either. There is no order in how they appear in the temples. It's all scattered, so they're scared that there are beasts hidden deep down in the temples.
Ooh, I forgot about this part. Y'all gets good. Check this out, though.
Another interesting thing he said was you cannot look through the walls. So normally they could use imaging and radar and other technologies to map out temples. These ones just appear as one giant black blimp with all technology that they attempt to use.
It's blocked.
They are literally mice and a mousetrap, making their way through this maze, piecing together lots of info, and hoping to get lucky. The amazing part, he said, of the temple is how complicated it is constructed. From the 500 people who died, 400 are still missing. So the puzzles and shit you do to open doors actually open up traps where you fall into or something.
It's wild though, right? I'm tripping over here. Hold on. it's wild, right? If you think about these temples, they're across the whole world, the whole globe. Temples, pyramids, lined up a certain way. And do you really believe the stories that they tell you about how they're made, who made them? Think about that. It's wild that these temples and pyramids, whatever you want to call them, how they're just out there, and we're just so used to them and we see them, but they mean a lot more, right? And does anybody really know who made them, who did them, and how they did them, and how they lined them up with the stars and all these, these weird facts about them? Check it out, though.
And those 400 have disappeared into the temple somewhere, and not a single one has been found yet. They fear they have become infected with a zombie virus, for there are symbols showing death all over the temple. But they fear once they reach a certain level, they will find all of those lost in a weird state, dead or infected or something. Also, there is no noise in the temple. When you talk, it's a very flat tone, and there is no outside noises. It's like a dead silence, which makes it really fucking scary to work in. Most of those who are deciphering will not enter the temples under any circumstances. That's why they send the third worlders to go in and try to open shit up. He said all the most important stuff has been removed. They kept the fluff which keeps people calm and going to church. Everything in the Bible is true, with many parts missing. He actually mentioned that Noah's Ark was based on Antarctica, and they expect to find some evidence of it once the snow melts. A part he mentioned was that the Antichrist was at war with God, and that is why he got frozen. But
That's wild, though, right? Think about that. What is under the ice over there? What is under the ice in Antarctica? What is over there that they don't allow nobody, no countries, whatever, to develop over there? And they got this treaty. That right there in itself, if you really think about it, that should throw up them red flags in your head, right? Is Rio in here? My people in here? Think about that. We already know that's something ain't right there. Why would they ban, regular people from going over there? Why is it such a, why is it so secluded, so secretive with all these countries to banning, getting together to basically not let people like us go over there freely? Really think about that, y'all. I mean, forget this video. I mean, it's a cool video, right? But why is Antarctica off limits for the regular man? To the point that they made an actual treaty where they can't develop, can't do whatever the treaty is, it's off limits. Don't that kind of intrigue you? Don't that kind of make you think that something ain't right there? What secrets do they have over there under the ice?
he said God isn't what he think he is. He's not a man, but a living organism, capable of hive mind-like thoughts, which can see the future. So, God, the spirit mind hive, warned Noah of the flood ice age coming, but didn't warn the Antichrist. I don't know because it went over my head as he was talking, but he said these two have been at war for a long time, and humans are just the vessels which they use. That is why Christ and the Antichrist will be located near each other. He said the Matrix told the story as the blue pill and the red pill. One will be the Antichrist and bring about the death. The other will be life. Though he admitted they have zero clues as to which is which, and where they are in the temples. There is a giant power struggle in those working on the temples, because many are offering to be test dummies, thinking they will get immortality. But many are scared of what will come about. OP, I am the foremost expert on the subject. My father...
And that's it with that one, y'all. That was a wild tale. And there's like other things that go on with this, with Antarctica, but they weren't as interesting as this one, talking about a temple out in Antarctica, right? With these traps, Indiana Jones style, setting and environment. So that's why I wanted to kind of showcase this story. Plus, it was kind of a quick one, you know what I'm saying? And I wanted to bring that to my people, how, I heard this, and I hope you get a chance to hear it yourself. And if I have a chance, I might go react to the other video. This other video is about a guy that goes viral on TikTok. Supposedly says he sees a giant. He's recording it. And over a matter of a month or two, CIA, you know what I'm saying, the regular, you know what happens, and this dude disappears for a month. I'm not going to ruin the rest. Some of you already know about this one. But these kind of clips, y'all, when I catch them on YouTube, they intrigue me. I've been kind of going down this route, you know, watching these crazy tales, and they get a lot of numbers. They're very interesting. And to me, they are, especially when it's dealing with religion, Antarctica, certain things like that, the occult, right? Not that I'm in there looking at some weirdo stuff, but the point is, this is pretty interesting, especially the channels I've come across lately. So I hope you enjoyed that little tale, y'all. Something kind of different here on Nino Radio. And there it is. Thanks for watching, everybody. God bless you. Those watching now and on the repeat. You're an American. You're a patriot. You got grit. Act like it. I'm out.